The meeting is open. We can kind of skip over the agenda if we want to talk about this some more. We can, what's the feeling? You want to talk
Well,
about
this
this
is
some
where
more?
we, yeah.
No.
I'll go right down the agenda.
Yeah, we'll go right down the agenda.
All right, okay. The first thing would be, everybody's got a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes, or you want them to read the minutes?
No, I think we can waive that if everybody has a chance, but maybe we should all introduce each other,
Oh,
just
okay.
so that we know who we are.
Start with Tom?
Tom Gore.
Dick Neal.
Jack Kelly?
Scott Mooney?
Cindy Hart?
Bob Smith?
Ed Walsh.
You want to skip over the minutes of the last meeting and get back to it? And talk about old business first?
I'll make a motion, we dispense with the reading.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Okay, now we're on to old business, the turnarounds. The turnarounds. The only thing I have with the turnarounds is, we had asked at the last meeting, I think you have all the information, Ed. I don't know if you've discussed it with the selectmen, if they want to pursue the turnarounds. We've had this, on our plate for like over a year now, so, if you don't have an answer, if maybe...
I don't have an answer right now, no, we
Yeah.
haven't really discussed it.
The thing is, I was going to present a copy of the letter to the selectmen, which you have, everybody has a copy here now. And as a result of our discussion at our last meeting, but Cindy thought it would be better to turn around and wait till tonight and make sure nobody has any problems with it. But everybody has a copy, and I have extra copies for the secretary and the selectman secretary and the selectman.
The only thing I just, we're trying to do everything through Ed. Ed is our liaison, so I think that's what Cindy meant, as far as the letter. Yeah, okay.
Is the concern here mostly snowplow turnaround, or is it school bus, or both?
No, it's all snowplow, problems with, Peck Road. I don't know, did you read the handout before?
I'm going through Dick's letter right now.
Yeah. Peck Road, there was, right now they're using someone's driveway to turn around. There's no, no written easement, no agreement, so legally. And then Scott has a problem over on Willow where it was a development was approved back in the, I believe, early 70s.
74, 76.
And the developer was supposed to put in a turnaround for the town, which it was never put in, and no one ever questioned him on it.
There's a spot for it, isn't there, on the left-hand side of that?
There is kind of, yes, if you look at the map there, but it's be something that we'd have to discuss it with the selectmen and make sure we do have legal rights to.
Yeah, well, I think
It's
the
a
thing
right of
there
way.
is to turn around and somebody contact the property owner, remind them of what the agreement was when the town accepted it, and then turn around and say,
And put an adequate turnaround in there. And the one on the Buzzell Road.
Yeah, Buzzell Road.
That's kind of, same thing, turning around in another person's driveway and.
And the property's for sale if it hasn't sold.
Right, it's only one house down there, so we're actually talking about just not even plowing that little section of road that's down in there, which I have been doing, by rights, from what Dick discovered, we don't even have rights down in that road.
Yeah.
So, which, just stuff like that, the selectmen could read all that information over, and if they agree with it, and then they can get back to us on our next meeting and something like that. And if they have any questions or anything like that, that'd be great.
Is my recollection correct, that we can close with a vote of the town meeting, a piece of road to winter maintenance for 10 years? Is that think that's.
I believe it's
law.
something
We
like
would
that.
not, you know.
But right now, from the records that we have been finding, we don't even have, we don't own that section of road that we've thought we've owned, you know?
But we use it, because if we don't use it to turn, we have no place to turn around.
Right.
So we're wrong no matter what we do.
Yeah, yeah.
This turnaround easement I found, I don't know who's seen this, but this is all we have for
Oh, yeah,
PEC. Did I give you a copy?
I've got a copy of it.
Has everybody seen it? It's simple. I think this is something where you just pretty much need a notary.
You wanna take a look at this as just a, you know, a turnaround easement. Well, I mean, in the case of, that would work for Peck Road.
This one will work for PEC.
Yeah, but as far as,
Willow and Hall.
Willow is gonna be actual construction work,
Right.
and,
And who does it? And
Yeah.
that has to kind of go through this.
and then
line.
Buzzell Road, that may have to go before town meeting, I don't know, you know. The town, you know, the town legal department, they'd have to find out if it would have to go, or if we can just stop plowing it, you know. But he's brought up evidence that it's actually not part of the town way.
And Hawk Road would be kind of another asking permission
Yeah.
for an easement,
Yeah.
turnaround easement, would be in that, fall in
Yeah.
that same category.
You know, as long as, you know, I think this will cover the town, you know, if you have an easement like this, you know, God forbid something happens, at least the town would be covered, you know.
Yeah.
I had a Hawk Road, Hawk's not a town road, is it, or is it
No.
From 109 it is,
from the 109 side?
so far in, it's 2.2 of a mile.
Just, probably just down to where it makes that
First
sharp
culvert,
turn,
I mean,
really?
that's what I'm assuming. Because that's where the easiest spot to turn around, that's where it's always
Yeah, that's not even
been.
easy.
Get the turnaround, no, it's not, not with a big truck, I've done
I
it.
know.
But, you know, it'd be nice to be able to have an easement in there to do the gravel work and a little bit of erosion control right there, and stuff like that. But nowadays, you know, if you've been turning around there, that's about all you dare to do, you start digging and touching, and whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah. Anything else on turnarounds? So, you know, more or less what we're asking is that, you know, for the select board, if you can come back to us with an answer on what they want to do about it. I mean, you know, we're at your disposal as far as what you want us to do. You know, I mean, I think all the research is done on it.
It may be helpful if one or two of you come to the selectmen's meeting
Yeah,
and help explain it maybe. Because, I mean, I kind of understand it, but
Yeah.
coming from you folks, you know, you got the real handle on it, so. Even do a workshop, not necessarily a meeting.
yeah, even
Yeah.
a few of the members could go in.
Yeah,
But you have copies of everything
Yep.
you can give to them.
yeah,
Let them read it over, and then maybe
will.
in a couple of weeks, we'll
Yep.
come in and sit down with you and
That
talk
makes
about it,
sense.
see what they want to do,
sure.
okay? The next thing we have is the RSMS.
We've been unable to retrieve the old information, and we may never be able to get it. I was pleased that we had gotten the disk and the flash drive. Unfortunately, nobody's been able to get the information that we need. There may be another flash drive. There were two other flash drives that came into the town hall over a period of time, that if they are discovered, one of them may have the material on it. But I don't think, we're not going to get it off of the flash drive I have.
I can add something to that. The one, I talked to Jennifer today, I was up here earlier today. Jennifer said the one that they had, that was turned in about a year ago, there's nothing on it. There's nothing on the flash drive. But I told her that, you know, we've made several attempts with, you know, she had a computer person, I tried to download it on mine, and what Shannon Winchell had told me is, it's a program based on Windows, either Windows 95 or Windows 98. And she said that there are a couple of computers in the town hall that still have Windows 98 or 95 installed, you know, and Jennifer said she couldn't just do it, it would have to be okayed by the selectmen, so, you know, if that's possible, you know, that's something else, you know, I mean, if we can get it onto a computer here in the town hall.
Yeah.
that-
If you can get it onto a computer, you can just get the data off of it.
Right.
You know, get it printed out
Yeah,
and
but
maybe
it
move
won't,
it forward from there.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
Like Dave said in the last meeting, it's the newer RMS it's kind of all
Yeah.
different new programming and all
Right.
that. And what I really suggest is we all sit down as a committee, we get and do the RMS for our town and get it set up.
Starting up from
Yeah.
scratch.
Starting it from
Yeah.
scratch and
if
get
that,
it
if
in our
that's what you
computer here.
decide.
Well, I went on,
The program.
I sent Jerry Douglas an email, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, and he replied back, that we've already downloaded part of the RMS. You're allowed 10 roads free, but, all we have to do is submit for online, we can do it all online, everything's online.
Yeah.
And after you do whatever, he'll send you an invoice and then we'll be all set, you know, and of course, I've done the class, they got more classes coming up, and, you know, I would attend the class again if I needed to, you know. It's something you really wanna do, because they go through step by step, and they've simplified it so much that, like before, you know how you guys were doing it from road crack to road crack, you don't do that now, you're going from, you know, one intersection to another intersection, you know, turns in the road, stuff like that. It's a lot more simplified than it was, because
Yeah.
before, you know, you guys would have,
We actually did, when we did it before, we did it from intersection to intersection, or if the pavement,
but if it changed, you don't have to
Yeah.
do that now.
and we use GPS,
Yeah,
you know.
they're recommending that you go pole to pole, or
yeah.
the street name to street name, you know.
But the thing that we're concerned about is the RSMS, that, you know, all the work that we did.
Yeah.
It's a shame to lose all of that, you know, I mean, we
No, I
recorded
don't know if I
culverts,
missed part of
everything.
the meeting, but were you able to pull that up at all?
No,
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 that's-
we
Oh, that's
can't.
why you
That's
need to
the
get it in
thing
Windows
now.
98.
The flash drive that, I think you had given it to Ted, the one that you gave him about, it was last May or something.
Yeah, that one there, nothing came up
There was
because
nothing on, she
They
said there
didn't
was
have the
nothing
disc,
on.
because they didn't have the disc.
we didn't have the disc to transfer over. We got the
Right.
disc, but you're gonna need the Windows 98 to pull it up.
Right, well,
We were able to
evidently
get
there
that
are a
far.
couple of computers in the town hall that still have Windows 98
Yeah,
system.
okay.
And
we
I
were-
try to do it on mine, which I have Windows XP. Cindy tried to do it on hers. We went over to the guy that lives over behind Loon Pond, he had Windows 7. He couldn't do anything with it either, so, like I say, the only thing is, you know, this is like last resort, you know? But she told me today, she said, you know, would have to go through you, get an okay, we can bring the program in and then see if we can somehow get it, you know, into the system here at the town hall.
But as far as our Europe money and to satisfy the state and all the requirements, I would highly suggest if we all took the course from local road maintenance center there, take the whole course,
Yeah.
all of us, and get on to that one program for the
Well,
town.
we gotta start
Yeah.
from scratch now anyways.
And then still try to retrieve all that important information from the camp roads that you guys
You
have
you
done.
know what
and all
else
that.
I was wondering now, Governor LePage, he got Obama to declare the state of emergency for the storm we had in February.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
you know, like in other words, so some of the towns may get reimbursed for part of the, you know, the winter.
We're supposed to be being, they haven't signed the bill yet, but
Yeah,
we,
well, I know he's dragging his feet on some stuff, but,
well, the federal government is, you
yeah,
know, the issue.
yeah.
They declared it, but, you know, we haven't received
Yeah,
it.
because that was something I was wondering about, whether or not, you know, maybe you could get some money out of the, you know, from the federal government through the state to reimburse the town for the expense of, you know, I mean, this was a.
Yeah, we're, actually, it's quite considerable because they're gonna reimburse us for our materials, our time. They've changed, FEMA's changed their status of how you were able to charge for those. It used to be, you know, you know, you couldn't charge for the plowing part, you know, it'd be the sand, and what now, snow is a debris, they call it debris, so we're able to charge for that now,
Yeah,
so. It's why we had a lot of debris this one, you know? So, we have, there's quite a bit of money that we may receive out of that, but it's no guarantee,
Yeah.
we're just waiting.
Yeah, exactly. All right, anything else under the RSMS? Okay, the next item is bridges. Did you have something about bridges?
Well, just that Scott mentioned that he had taken a look at, probably it's better for you to explain that you saw the canal bridge and it's got the crack now and the keystone.
Well, it's been in there for a couple of years now, and that's why it went from 50% down to 30% good. And it's gonna deteriorate one of these days. It's all dry laid, arch, granite. The keystone right in the middle is cracked. One side's dropped down.
One's gone. One of them's gone. The keyways, the keystones.
Yeah, the one behind it, but that one in front, I believe, is still there. And it's cracked, and
So,
it's just gonna be an issue one of these days. We don't know who's,
well, right now, I thought what we were doing was working with Wakefield and seeing what they were, I mean, we really had a standstill right now until Wakefield decides, they're putting on a historical society, that's what they're trying to do now, right?
Well, they've got, they're already a CLG community.
Yeah.
We were looking into doing this so we would also be eligible for the same grant money that they are. And if we did it, I think, now Dick, you had talked to somebody on our historic district, because if we had one building that we could call a historic district, then we're able to become a CLG community, which makes us eligible for the same kind of grant money that Wakefield's been getting. And where both towns and both states have to be involved. It's a big deal, and we really need cooperation. They sent quite a crew over here initially, and I think they were a little disappointed that we, didn't seem as enthusiastic as they were.
Well, I mean,
I think the money scared us.
well, I think that's it, I mean, you're talking,
The liability.
it's not, you're not talking $100,000, you're talking a lot of money, and there's more to it. I mean, I thought they'd just gotten a grant to do a study on, an engineering study
They've
on.
got, they already have the engineering study done. That was done a couple of years ago.
No, there was another grant for,
Yeah, for more of it, but we
Yeah.
have one engineering study. But the other grant is to write the grant to become historic for over here. It's very complicated, and we really haven't heard back from Pam since the last time she was here.
Yeah, I saw a letter, they haven't done anything all winter.
Yeah,
well, they've had a change, I believe they have a change of town manager and stuff all there, haven't they? So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably a little catching up to do, but I think, before we go too far in discussing that, I think probably we ought to get an update on what Wakefield's up to,
I think that's a good idea.
before we get too
Yeah.
involved, because as far as the way I took the meeting last time at Wakefield, they were gonna take the initiative to get the ball rolling, we were just gonna follow behind. That's what I'd rather do, if they wanna take the initiative
Yeah.
and go ahead and get the grant money, I mean, the less that we have to be involved with it, and they want, obviously we wanna help out as much as can, but if they wanna get this ball rolling, we wanna know what they've done so far, so we don't overstep,
The last thing that was going on that I remember was that the person over in New Hampshire that's in charge of historical, the bridge and all that, was gonna try to get in contact with his counterpart in Maine,
Okay,
so the two of them could work together.
yeah, okay.
I think actually we're talking about two different issues here. One is the area itself, the canal, and the other is reconstruction of the bridge. And Cindy, if my recollection is correct, the last time we had a meeting over in Wakefield on this topic, and when we got to discussion specifically involving the bridge, Wakefield's concern was they had consulted with the state, and the state had told them they were 7 years out on the bridge. So there are two projects really we're talking side by side.
Yeah, because I'm only worried about the bridge myself.
I understand that, that's why I'm saying, that could be why you're not hearing a lot about it, because, and you can correct me, Cindy, if my recollection is wrong, but my recollection is they had gone to the state and they were looking for funding from the state, specifically with respect to the bridge, and they were told 7 years
I remember
before that's gonna happen.
that didn't brought up the last.
The canal project is a separate project, even though it probably shouldn't be, but,
Yeah, 'cause like I said, my concern,
right.
I mean, obviously the canal has something to do with the bridge, but like I said, my concern is the bridge itself, getting traffic over it at some point. We did a couple of minor repairs to it last fall there, a little bit of hot top patch and this and that, but, I mean, right now, it ought to have some guardrails put up, this and that. I was gonna get a hold of Fred over Wakefield there and see if, you know, we gotta continue still doing maintenance of some sort to it, you know, until we get to the actual, you know, what's gonna happen to it, so, I'm gonna get a hold of Fred over Wakefield and see if, we'll do you know, either he supplies the materials, we do it together, or whatever, or get some new guardrails up there, maybe do some water diversion, try to go along, stuff for a little while.
And it's posted 310, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But they could take that away anytime, and without the bridge,
What
Or
did
we-
you take, what away?
they could close the bridge at any time, is what I gathered from our meeting last week, when they go in and inspect it. If it deteriorates further, we could wind up with a closed bridge.
Yeah, but, you know, like Tom just said, they're talking 7 years out, if they close the bridge, man, it's the best thing they do, you know, that'll put the gear, you know, ball rolling, but right now, if we're 7 years out, there's nothing we can do, but I don't think the town of Acton wants to foot the bill for that, right now, we can't anyways, because if they put it under the historical society, we can't touch it, right?
I think that's pretty much where we are
Yeah,
now
exactly,
already.
so you might
Yeah.
be, you could be putting a kibosh doing anything to that bridge for a while by doing that.
Well,
So-
I think we're already there where we
Yeah,
really
so,
can't.
so we got our
touch it.
hands tied right
Yeah.
now, so
Yeah.
until the state of New Hampshire or somebody comes up with a fund to say we're gonna rehabilitate this bridge, there's not a whole lot we can do right now this time except do some patching and hope for the best. Maybe, you know, call up the bureau, main, the inspector for the bridges there, what was his name? Oh, we were just talking to him the other day, but, you know, and maybe have him come down, do a, you know, peer inspection on it now and then, you know, to make sure it's safe, but, you know, I don't wanna open up a can of worms either, you know, it's, I mean, traffic's going over fine, I haven't seen any more rocks falling lately, so, I mean, it is what it is.
Scott, has that split in the past couple of years? Is Keystone split in the last couple of years?
Yes.
'Cause I haven't seen it in a couple of years.
Yeah, I think it's been about 3 years now since we had that real, 3 to 4, 4 years since we had that 30% bridge from the state, yeah.
That was 5 years.
Is that from
Five
Maine or New
years.
Hampshire?
5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that Maine or New Hampshire?
Maine does it 1 year, New Hampshire does it the
Okay,
next
so
year.
they're back and
So
forth.
it's every couple of years, well, every year is just about inspected, but one state to the other, but it was not a good report, the last one, you know, considerably failing fast.
Yeah, Canal Bridge. Now, is that on the downstream side?
It's on the inlet side.
It's on the inlet side.
Inlet side, yeah, you can walk right down, around the canal, look, and you see the rock that falling out and the crack. But, I really think that we're kind of at a standstill right now until we know what's going on with, you know, funds and all
And the
that.
only other way around is 109, come in that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's 109,
Jet
it's
ski.
also whatchamacallit Hill Road,
Junk
Oak
Hill.
Hill.
Oak Hill Road.
Hill,
Right,
Junk Hill.
which is a little bit longer and windier, but
I mean-
get you there.
Really, as far as the Acton's aspect of it, I mean, yes, there is some traffic go over that road, but it'd be hurting New Hampshire more if the bridge was closed, because they wouldn't be coming into Grady's boat launch so much. You know, I mean, that was when it was closed for that little period, 6, 7 years ago, when it got closed for a little bit, there was a lot of backlash on that.
Reduce the
From
traffic.
New Hampshire.
Reduce the traffic.
I was-
A lot.
I'm gonna be making a phone call to the state inspector anyways, and see about doing some inspection down the Hopper Road, and maybe, we can set up a time to go down and take a look at it, get a better idea of what his thoughts are, what we're gonna have to do at this
Yeah.
point. Because, you know, until we have an engineered plan of what we're gonna do with that bridge, funds, we talk about it all day, we just can't do nothing.
Right,
So,
I mean, when he does come up, I'd like to be there.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would too. That bridge that's another one we could just lose. They could come in and say, I'm sorry, we don't want you going over it. And somewhere there's got to
Well,
be,
it happened to Milton.
we have to put some, yes, it did happen,
But
and
Milton, you know, I don't know if it's opened back up, but as far as last time I knew, it was still closed, and they just put barricades across it, and that's it, because they don't have the funds to fix it. And they can't figure out who's doing what, and when you get one state and this state, nobody's got any money, so,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the Hopper Road probably should be re-engineered if it's rebuilt anyway, that corner.
the
is
Hopper
horrible.
Road, the Hopper Road, I believe is fine right now. But, you know, we'll get another inspection on it. I've already posted it. I've already posted that, you know, for 60,000. I'm sure it could be posted less, but I'll only do that if the bridge inspector says that's what I ought to be doing. I'd only posted that bridge because of the width of the bridge. It wasn't the bridge itself. It was the width of the bridge and trucks meeting other trucks come around on that hard shot corner. That was my reason behind posting that. You know, going to single unit jobs instead of tri-axle trailer dumps. But if we have the inspector come down and say, you know, yeah, you know, and we're gonna be, who, I don't think we wanna hear, you know, him say, yeah, we're gonna post this down to 3 ton, you're gonna have to put another new bridge and have 2 bridges in the town of Acton, you know, they're impassable. I don't think we wanna hear that, so, but, obviously, we ought to have the inspector come down and take a look at it.
Okay. Anything else on the bridges? Okay, our next subject is, we're under new business now, will be the road striping. And we got Bob Smith here.
I don't know if you want me to jump in at this point.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Good on that.
Most of you, and I have had a chance to see the information that I had handed out at the last meeting, and maybe have had a chance to take a look at it. With questions as we go through this, then, you know, that's fine too. New things to tell you, as far as the roads that I picked, I mean, I didn't arbitrarily pick the roads to be done, but those roads, I kind of went through those this morning, and I realized that there's really almost 50-50 split between the north side and the south side, for no reason, other than, I guess originally when I put the roads together, they were not in my mind, but what Dave had told me last time we met was that he took care of the road out by the dental clinic, going out toward the bridge that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
And so that being said, those roads out there jump into the south side, then they come out to be about 9.8 miles for the south side and 9.5 miles on the north side. And again, I'm not privy to how you guys do budgets or things like that, so I don't even know if that even makes a difference. I guess one of the things that I'm really looking for at this stage, knowing again that money is an issue, I hear that at every step along the way that I have gone with this, is, I guess first of all, as a road committee, I get a sense some individuals support this. I don't know as a group whether you do. And I don't know whether that's something that is a good thing to ask you for or not. But in my head, I think it's a good thing. You know, that if I could get the support of a road committee as I go forward with this thing, I think that's a plus. I don't know where to go next. I mean, I went to the selectmen and, you know, to be honest, they didn't have too much positive to say about it. I honestly came out of that meeting not even knowing if they supported it. Forget the money part, if they supported it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know that on the way out. I think at some point when I do get back there, that's a question I need to ask. To see, again, where I go at this point. I don't know what to do next, other than, you know, Scott had said kind of thing, well, bring it to the meeting kind of a deal. I guess I don't even know how that process would work.
Right. It'd be,
Well, you gotta have a warrant.
I can readily explain that to you, and there's good reason to go that route, okay? And, well, at another time.
Oh, sure,
That would be the
absolutely,
appropriate time to
absolutely,
do it.
absolutely.
I mean,
But-
what I was
but-
saying.
Excuse me, Scott.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was gonna
Finish, I'm
say,
sorry.
going through the process of petitioning the town meeting to consider something, you build a constituency in the process of getting there. And that's a real good thing to walk onto the floor of town hall with, or town meeting with. You know, things that come off the shelf that not a lot of people have heard about and had an opportunity to discuss before it hits the floor of the town meeting. They tell you all the time exactly what's happening, every time you're gonna spend a new dime. Right
Yes,
now.
no doubt, yeah.
So you build that constituency, You do that through the petitioning process, you get it on the warrant of the town meeting, and by the time you get to the town meeting, then you have a constituency there. And that's a very healthy process. And I don't know how the committee feels about it. I myself look kind of favorably on some of this anyway. But that's neither here nor there. The process is you have to get it through the town meeting. And the process of getting it through the town meeting is that petitioning process. And as I say, that's a healthy process.
Well, I could give you a call somewhere along the line. and then-
Anywhere, yeah,
Okay.
anytime, yeah.
You know, I just want to add something to this. I had talked it over with Cindy, and, you know, I'd be willing to go out with you. I'd like to measure the roads, although Dick says he's been out and measured the roads, once we get rid of the snow. And then the other thing I want to do is I'd like to contact some of the towns around us to see what they do. I've done it in the past with the road ordinance, just to see, you know, if they are doing it and how much, you know, money they're spending. Not, you know, we know Shapley's doing it, but I'd like to look at some of the other towns. And I would gladly, like I say, as soon as the weather breaks, go out and take a look at these roads with you. Maybe 3 or 4 of us could go and do some measuring and see, you know, my concern, you know, and I've seen this on 13th Street, where people will ride on the edge of the road. So if you've got a double yellow line in the middle of the road, people are gonna have a tendency to ride closer to the edge of the road. You're gonna have, you know, pavement breaking off and things like, even maybe people hitting a soft shoulder, you know? That's what my concern is.
Yeah, because you're not gonna be able to do both, a double solid line and a white line
Yeah,
on the edge.
well, like he
because of
had
the
said,
road.
a double yellow line in the middle, you're taking away a foot of the road. If you got a 20-foot wide road, now you're down to 19.
Some of them are
And you gotta
19
come in
anyways.
from the side, you can't put the white strip right on the side, you know? So that's, you know, that was my concern, you know, but like I said, I'd like to investigate it, and put a lot of work into it, so, you know, investigate it and then come back and, you know, we'll go from there.
I made some phone calls. I called up the guy there that does Shapley's, Mr. Bob King, hell of a nice guy. And I had some questions for him, you know, because I'm not too familiar with the road, you know, the maintenance on the road painting and what it entailed. You know, I know, what it costs. You know, you got it pretty much laid out here pretty well, the cost, except for the extra 7 cents per foot for the white lines.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, well, I done some pricing myself, you know, just to get an idea, because, you know, there are a couple spots there up on Young's Ridge there that we're widening out, and I'm gonna have to do some white lining, you know. And spots, you know, when I've gone from 19 feet to 26 feet wide, and, you know, we're going rock wall to stop the erosion, but spots like that, you know, I'm finding that I'm gonna have to do it. The only thing that I'm concerned on, you know, and we've spoke about this before, was obviously money and the maintenance issue that's going to be in the long term. After talking to Bob from, what is it? Poirier Guidelines, and I asked him, you know, how often are we going to have to do this? And he said every year. Okay, and he says sometimes do it twice a year, to keep up on a routine maintenance like you're supposed to do. Now, I'm sure you can do once every 2 years and probably get by, but to stay on the, you know, maintenance plan that they recommend, you're talking at least once a year. And, you know, you're talking, okay, you've got a cost of $10,000 to do how many miles of road would that be?
Well, it's $350, you know, per mile.
Yeah. So,
To do 18 miles.
Yeah.
But the 350 is for the, you know, all of the lines.
no, that was just for the double stripe, and then there was an extra 7 cents per mile to do the double on the outside.
Okay,
So,
all right,
so you're almost doubling the price. That, my concern is this.
Right, because
that you're-
almost 14 is all I
yeah.
have in the proposal.
So what ends up happening is, we did learn the other day that you don't have to continue striping.
Well, it's
But
kind of
it's
It's a
kind of
fine line, yeah.
gray area, because, you know, if you stripe a road and then you say, well, we haven't got the funds anymore, and then someone crashes, Scott and I are gonna be liable one way or another. So,
I thought they said that you wouldn't be liable with that.
no, that's not what they said. They said that a good lawyer could make a good case for it. Well, all I'm looking at, it'd be a great idea if we thought that what we're gonna end up doing is adding $15,000 or so a year to our maintenance cost. If you stay on a maintenance plan that you're supposed to stay on. And, as Scott and I know, we asked for some special money this year, we didn't get any of that either.
Well,
So-
we didn't get our extra articles in on time.
Yes, yeah, so, that would be the only concern I got. Some of the roads, there are a couple of roads there that are borderline whether or not they're wide enough to do, but at some point, we're gonna have to widen them out anyways.
I went out and checked all the roads except Ashland Ridge Road, and I come out with, all of them were 20 plus, up to 22 feet.
22 feet?
Yeah.
My road,
Yeah.
New Bridge Road?
I don't think so.
Some measure with the paving
I was just
guys,
up on
something
the-
like 19 and a half, 20.
I was on Hamp's Hill the other day, with 19 and a half, 20 feet, and then you put a solid, two solid lines on it.
Now, when it comes to, does it have to do something with the posted, speed limit? Where does the posted speed limit? Because most of our roads are 35 on
You
the
got some
back
40s.
roads. So, I mean, we've, if there's a speed issue or whatever, that's what we have a county deputy for. So we have our town deputy, so he can, am I right, Selectman Walsh, that if we have issues, we need to bring it to him?
I don't believe the striping has anything to do with the speed limit. It's just
Well, I'm
keeping it
just,
in the road.
that's what I'm asking, because then like you said, you start nailing those up. And a lot of our accident isn't from,
We get just as many accidents on Milton Mills Road as we do on any other road in this town, and that's striped.
Yeah.
But, looking around at the towns surrounding us, Lebanon, Shapley does do some of their roads, Wakefield doesn't do their roads.
no?
Newfield doesn't do any of their roads. I think right now, it's a good idea if, I guess we were probably on a better maintenance plan right now. If we had the surplus, I guess, but Sanborn Road could probably use it, but you're gonna have a fine line of where do you stop, what road shouldn't get it. If you do one, you probably should do them all. Obviously a Riverview or French Street, they're one laners anyways.
Which is fine, but then you're gonna have the people that are gonna say that you're taking away the integrity of the country limit.
Well, that's it,
This is what people want, like I said, I mean, over 20 years of being in the fire service, other than up on 109 having a head-on, very seldom do it's driver inattention that somebody's gone off the road.
Back
And
side.
that's exactly what the
Backstairs.
logic is for this, is driver inattention, because now you have a line that in your peripheral vision.
That's fine,
You
but
see it.
if you were doing the posted speed limit, whether it be 35 like it is on the H road, or 40 on the Mills Road, 45, whatever they are, it's all well and good, but like we're saying, where we're gonna get the money from, and it also comes to being responsible of maybe,
Well, we're just
your
putting
driving
ourselves into you're almost putting yourself into a contract every year, this is what you gotta do now. And that's the only issue I got with it, it's not something, if it was something, would go 3-4 years at a time, whatever, but if you're talking every year, you're gonna put 15 some thousand. And that's all depends on whether or not the price goes up. When the price goes up, you're handcuffed to whatever it is. And, that's the only issue I got with it. Because of striping, I mean, you call a guy up, you tell him what roads to do, and they do it. I mean, it's not a big deal, I mean, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
It's just the cost right now, I think, we're running on fumes right now, we're trying to make what we got work. And, to add on something that you got to do every year, I don't know if it's something we wanna walk into right now, that's the only issue I've got with it. I mean, I did talk to this Bob King, I'm gonna have him come up and right there at the Youngs Road intersection with 109. We got a little issue there with culvert there. I gotta get a hold of the state and see if we can fix that. But I want to pave that apron in, and I'm gonna have them put a stop, painted stop thing so people know where to stop. Some stop ahead signs. I'm gonna have them do that on a couple intersections. Knowing I'm gonna have to do that of the year, but, you know, the cost of that's not a lot, you know, it's, you know, it's pretty minute. But when you start having to do miles and miles of road, it's pretty big.
The state was gonna come down and rebuild the whole intersection there, 109 and 11. It was scheduled to be done this coming September. They've now taken the funds, they're gonna do up by Shapley Corner, you know, Pump Brook goes underneath. I guess that culvert, it's in tough shape, so
Wow.
now they're stealing the money from what they were gonna do at the foot of the lake, and they're gonna do that job up there, so it's been put off for another year.
Scott and I were up there looking at a
Yeah. Pump
pothole
Brook,
up there at the intersection of 109 and Young's Ridge, and
yeah.
I drove by and just noticed it, and stopped, and Scott stopped by, and the literally the road was, well, it was washing in.
Yeah.
There's a culvert underneath there, it obviously must be
This
damaged.
is over in Shapley,
Well, this is right
near the
here,
Shapley Corner store, you know, as you come down that,
yeah,
right there, Pump Brook.
and it's obviously something that we're gonna have to get into,
Yeah.
because, you know, for it to be, the dirt to be displaced, it's gotta be going somewhere, so obviously the culvert that crosses 109 is probably failing.
Yeah.
I have seen, DigSafe has been up there, so I'm sure the state is gonna be up there fixing that. I don't know how much of a job they're gonna do, but they have called DigSafe and.
Well, you know, now when they do a culvert, it has to be water level, it can't be up above, because when the water drops,
Well, you want it down.
turns everything up, yeah. That's, I guess it's.
Well, that's why they
That's the
create
water.
create a cesspool,
Yeah,
with a rock line cesspool, you can't have it drop in.
yeah.
Right.
It's more than
I
that.
think that one up there is probably
Fish
age.
passage.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
It's been, I mean, how many years was it buried and not even know it was there?
Yeah, it's probably been there 30 years.
Yeah.
I have a question for Bob. You included Young's Ridge Road. Why?
Other than the fact that it kind of goes, you know, up and then up and around and back down that steep hill,
Yeah, but I think most of the traffic,
goes straight.
you know, town traffic would be.
Sure.
cut right
And I
across
get that,
Newbridge
and
Road.
that's why I said even with this list, you know, anything is, no, I shouldn't say anything. Some of the roads maybe in my mind shouldn't be negotiable, some of them are terrible, I think. But that one certainly would be a questionable one.
And the only two on my side that I could really see if it ever foreseen to be done would be H Road and Goose Pond Road. Those would be the only two that I would even
Yeah.
fancy, if you were gonna say.
The Sanborn
That's
Road,
strike from Shapley Town Line,
Shapley Town Line to 109,
yeah.
from
Yeah.
here to Acton Ridge, because, you know, those are my two major roads, and we got striping on one of the roads already, and this one the other, but as far as we getting up into Acton Ridge, I mean, you're getting back out in the country again.
Sure.
You know, you're.
I mean, I just looked at it as that it was a you know, fairly significant length, and a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs kind of thing. And that's all I was doing, is just driving around town saying, look at this road.
Yeah,
You know, this one looks like one, but again,
But
you know.
I think you need to start off with ones where the most traffic is.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
and a lot of these are what they
Yeah.
call them collector roads. or
Collector roads,
through
secondary
roads, you know,
roads.
going from point A to
But,
point B.
like,
you know.
like Dave did say, you know, if people would do the speed limit,
That's all
I mean, you're doing 60, 65 miles an hour down H Road. I mean, you catch yourself. I mean, do 50. I mean, it's, you know, people do it all the time, you know, it's just.
And, you know, that being said, that is the issue that maybe you try and seek help for. I mean, are you gonna get people to slow down? I don't think so. I don't think so.
I feel that, when we talked before about this road stripe, I probably come off like I don't agree with doing it. I mean, it's obviously, it's a good idea, there's a reason why towns do it, I'm just looking at cost
Yeah.
and the maintenance part of it. But I think probably at this point in time, you know, I guess, get on a warrant, on a separate warrant, you know, for
You mean
roads.
not what you guys put up there?
Yeah, Scott and I, we, pretty much what we've done for the last 4 years is we pass in the same budget every year and hope that we get our paving. And we, you know, and hopefully get a special project someday. But, yeah, and, but on an article, on something like this here, I think it ought to be presented on a separate article for road striping, that way there it doesn't affect our actual
Right.
budget.
Either
And,
goes in the, no.
yeah, that way there, on town floor, it's being presented for just this only, and see what happens, you know, I mean.
Would it then, assuming it were to pass, would it then fall back to you guys?
Well, if it passes, that means the town wants us to do it.
Right, so it
Eventually,
would
we
still
have
come
to.
back to you guys.
The
Yeah,
conventional
back to us.
process, Bob, would involve taking this to town meeting like 2 or 3 or 4 times. And then if it's done consistently over a period of several votes, endorses it, then generally it would get incorporated into, I mean, that's the way things.
Well, if he went and started the process now
Right.
for next
Yeah.
year, getting it on the town warrant,
Right,
the
follow.
next
Yeah.
June, you know, you could, you know, present, you know, this is what I'd like to, you know, say, what, 15,000, I think is what you
Yeah,
figure it's
that's the
gonna
ballpark,
be. You know,
yeah.
put a number of 15,000 and say, you know, this is what I'm present to the town of Acton, and I would like to see this done. And if the people in town meet say, yeah, we want this done, then Scott and I are pretty much obligated to do that.
Okay.
But, you know, we're, at this point in time, we can't take the money out of the budgets we have now to take on new responsibility that we don't really can't
We don't have
afford.
I still, you know, like I say, you know, maybe 3 or 4 of us get together, go out, remeasure the roads once we get some good weather. And then the other thing I'll do is I'll contact the towns around just to see, you know, and that may add to your case.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I'd be happy to help you if you wanted to get to that
Yeah,
point. when you-
yeah. Like I say, we'll just hope the weather breaks soon.
And like you said,
What's
you
the
know,
weather gonna do?
on the north side, I
To measure
mean,
the
I
road
I'm
from side to
already
side.
Yeah.
pushing
I mean, you
for
get- right now you
Goose
get
Pond
small
No.
and H Road would be the only ones I'd really like to be see done, you know
Going out
what I
this
mean?
weekend.
I mean, H Road to me is the big one.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think Goose Pond Road is too,
Oh,
and
right.
then
Same.
Youngs Ridge, New Bridge Road, I mean, there's a lot of traffic that goes through there, there is, but there isn't. I mean, it's kinda hard to, I
Big
mean, that's one of my main drags when I'm up there plowing.
If the bridge goes, there won't be.
Yeah, if the bridge goes, we're just gonna shut the whole thing down anyway, so.
It's a great
I
east
think
lake.
one of the significant issues in identifying these roads are these are commuter roads. These are people coming in, passing through the town of Acton, coming from someplace else and going someplace else. These are the people.
It
Those are the
really,
roads that
right now, I mean, the state has a program right now where we can get the traffic counters, you know, that might be
Yeah.
something that, you know, eventually, if you go along with this process and you want to continue doing it, something we can do some traffic count on each road and see which ones really need it, you know. Because we know which roads don't, you know, East Shore Drive, Front Street, Riverview,
Right.
Peck Roads, you know, God roads, those roads obviously aren't needed, there's not a lot of traffic on it, but, you know, the Sanborn Road, a lot of traffic on the high speed.
Plus, it's a school down there.
Yeah.
That's a big issue.
And, even the Hopper Road, you know, those 2 roads I could see, but.
I guess I questioned county, I wasn't sure about that one.
County road, yeah, county roads, you know, that's a cutoff, you know, people use
Yeah.
that as a, you know, from Fox's Ridge over to Milton Mills, and, you know, that's a pretty high-speed road, it's not supposed to be, but it is.
We did the count, the traffic count, I think, on that road too.
Yeah,
I remember.
but we did the traffic count, I believe, in the fall, wasn't
Well,
it?
that, you know, that's the next thing on the agenda is the traffic counters, and I know the state, you know, they sent us back all the numbers and everything, but they did want us to get a summer traffic count.
We got a thing the other day from that DOT meeting we went to on
Yeah.
Thursday, and they got a program that we can, get the traffic counters again from them.
Yeah, because they gave me, I went up and picked them up and then brought them back.
Yeah.
And we did 5 roads the first week, and then we moved them to the other 5 roads the second week. And,
Well, we wanna do it in the summer though.
Yeah,
yeah, well, that's what they wanted, that
Yeah.
was the next step. Now, I don't know whether it would tie in with the RSMS or what.
No, I don't believe so. The RMS programs just pretty much, documenting your road work.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it amounts to when you grade it, when you grade a dirt road, which we don't have a whole lot of. You know, doesn't even document the culverts, it's pretty much the surface, you know, when it's paving. Not, you know, not when you patch and stuff like that, just certain projects in that section of road.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be doing signage. The new program, they've already screwed with it, and now they're gonna add signage to it too, which is fine, yeah, because they do it all the time. I mean, this program is, I was kinda worried about getting on this program again, because the last program, the 98, it's evolved so much, it's not even compatible with the new one.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that was my question with Jerry Douglas, is whether or not if we take this on, you guys are gonna change this in 3 years and we're not gonna be able to use any of this stuff, we're gonna be able to be compatible, and said, no, they had an issue last time, they're gonna make sure this is compatible. But, no, it's nothing to do with road count or anything like that, it's pretty much a maintenance log.
I actually, I went up and I got the counters, but I don't know who actually came up with the list of roads. I don't know if it was you guys or...
These guys did, you gave us a list.
That I wanted done, and
Yeah.
I believe Dave did too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you both gave us a list, and those would be the same
yeah,
ones
yeah,
we're
it would have
mentioning
to
for
be the
striping,
same.
it's,
These are the
Additional
majors, the connector
Yeah.
routes.
Yeah. It was, all, mostly the roads we're
Main
talking
drags,
about, yeah.
yeah.
I'd just like to come up with some new research. As far as these road postings that we have, it's legal and all that, but it's getting to the point, I don't know if Dave has the same problem, that we're getting a lot of phone calls on people that just want that one quick one in, it's 29 degrees, this and that. I propose that we write up some kind of waiver that Dave and I can have, that these people can sign, and we give them that one-shot deal over the road to get their excavator out or get their excavator in, not repetitive traveling. Like today, I had a phone call from Landscape Depot, which is on the H Road, and they got some big equipment. He's crying, he's pleading. His raw bark pile down in Portsmouth is on fire. And he's got the loaders down there trying to mix it. They're trying to put the fire. I guess the pile's huge. He was begging and pleading for me to get his dozer out on H Road. What am I supposed to say? But, if he wants to take that responsibility of saying, yes, you sign this waiver, if you damage our road in any shape or form, we have legal documentation besides Dave and I saying, yeah, you can go down the road. Well, there's no... He said I could get on the road, but he didn't say nothing, where's the legal documentation of did some damage? And I'm not saying repetitive, but once in a while that David and I could come up with some piece of paper saying, or having it legal, that we gave them permission for this special reason.
Yeah, I got a phone call the other morning, they wanted to go in 2 days after they called me, and they wanted me to, they said it's a company policy that I have to give them written permission. I told them I don't have to give you anything, because I'm not gonna give you 2 days in advance written permission, not being Joe Cupo. I don't know what it's gonna be at 6 o'clock on Friday morning. So, what I've been doing as a rule of thumb is when someone calls, they wanna get in, you call me that morning early, and I'll make sure you can go in. On that issue there, that's, 50-ton dozer,
Exactly, equipment's huge, but, it was cold this morning, but, something like that, there's only a few incidents, but, if he would've stove up the whole road, he would've been,
yeah.
Scott said I could. Well,
Yeah.
you're making me feel bad, you're saying you're losing thousands and thousands of dollars down there because you got this big pile that's on fire because of combustible material that you're waiting to grind,
But you tell them renting those down there is gonna be a lot cheaper.
That's right. Well, I could've said that, but, I don't like, being smart, I feel.
I will let people in and out, I've got a couple of guys up on the other end of town there that drive truck for a living, I tell them to come in empty. I really can't stop them from going onto their premises, I try to be lenient as much as I can, but we do have the Lowe's who come in and just roll through the whole truckload of lumber and the concrete trucks, and I've just been given verbal for now, but it would be nice to have something with us certified from town of Acton saying we're letting you do this.
I think it's a real good idea. It's not only you do that, but you document a time and a place. They get a permission on the telephone, they can say, well, I got permission from Scott without saying the rest of the message.
No,
It goes on paper.
I've got an example, I actually, the first time I posted the roads in town of Acton, I told somebody, you can go in and out, with your truck, and da-da-da-da-da, and then the next next day, the guy hauls out a 100,000-pound piece of
Yeah.
machinery out and said, Dave said it was all right.
Right.
They misconstrued what I had said, but if it was on paper saying, this is what I'm allowing you to do, then it'd be a little different. But I had no recourse because I told him he could go in and out with his truck, you know, so.
You put it on
And I-
paper, you put a
and I
time
do-
and a date, and
Well, I don't even really, you know, if you wanna do it, you meet me at the certain point at 5:30, unless it's snowing, I mean, I'll do everything I can. I'll meet you there in that morning and sign that piece of paper. Here we go.
I mean, and if the guy, like myself, last week, I mean, we were dumping, I had 4 tractor-trailer trucks in the town of Shapley at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Talking to Dick, he goes, I said, we're going in as early as we can, he said, no problem. And if somebody, a contractor has an issue, they're gonna call you guys and say, hey, we need this, we're gonna be in there at 2 in the morning, get loaded, so we don't have a problem. You know what people are gonna do, you're gonna be able to feel them out. Either they're
Right.
giving you a line, or they're gonna be serious and honest about it and say, hey,
Well,
no,
I mean,
I think
I-
it's a good idea. I mean,
right.
we, just up on that turn, going around the back stairs, that could've broke up and spent all kinds of time. We got enough problems up there.
Right.
You know?
I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
that's gonna get maintained, but it was just that scenario of fire, this, I need to get my equipment out, this and that, and I said, yes, but I knew that dozer was huge, like you said, it's 50-ton machine, and if it would've stove up the road, it'd been my fault
I
without.
would've wanted to see it on the cell phone as a fire, you know, before I let anything roll, but, we got too much of an investment.
Well, I mean, if that's where you got that piece of paper saying he is liable, if he damages that road, he is liable, you know?
But
That's
that-
why we got cell phones with pictures and, but, you know, I just like to see something. It's not saying we're gonna be handing them out to
Everybody.
every little person, but.
There's a certain
Send a
time,
few.
something just doesn't seem right. It'd be nice, to, like Tom said,
Yeah.
to have some documentation and
I mean, the good old boy, yeah, you can go, is not,
Yeah, because the problem is if you tell someone they can go and it's frozen, you know, they gotta go get a load of sand, they come back and right on that verge, and the guy gets stopped by whoever, you know, and you let him go, well, it's kinda my fault if I let him go, so if I could give him something saying it was A-okay. And especially to the guys who have to get in all the time, you know, get into their residence, you know, having something in hand so that, you know, they don't get stopped every morning by, you know, Deputy Dan.
right. But if they're running in there with their third axle down or something like that.
Yeah.
What's that third axle down for?
And even something we can email to somebody, you know, like when we have the salt guys come in. You know, this spring we were having salt delivered, nobody knew that they had the okay to do that, you know, and they could have obviously gotten in a lot of trouble. Fortunately, they don't have to go very far on the unposted roads, but they were coming from where they normally come from, they were coming up 109, so.
Okay, I think we've covered, the only other thing we had was the liaison we were gonna ask you for. I guess Cindy, I'll let you talk about it.
Oh, okay, well, when I was at the meeting last week, we were talking about this before everybody got here. The AWA Planning Committee for the grant that's coming down. There are 4 roads that are receiving money from the grant, but they're also going to send a mailing out or they were discussing paying for mailing that would go to everyone in town on the zoning. And I was thinking the biggest problem probably that you have with the runoff and erosion is coming from some of these lake roads. And if this is going to be paid for, perhaps we could put a mailing in with it that could get information back. I think we've lost track of which roads have road committees and which don't. And I mean, they should be made available if they've got the information from DEP. The grant money's available and help is available. And now the town will be able to come in and put some money in these roads. With the great ponds, and Scott, you were talking about that. We talked about it Thursday at the DOT meeting. There are provisions now where you can help. And they would especially like to see some help on Buzzell. And frankly, I think we need Buzzell Road as a town. It's the only other way across.
You know, I mean, I still agree with my associations, I still agree with all that, but for some of these major drainage issues that we do have in our great ponds, I feel that the town can legally help. I'm not saying to pay for the whole projects, but I'm saying to start kicking in on some of these major drainage issues on some of these great ponds, not you know, not every little trickle here and there, but some of these major ones, you know, the town could actually give them some equipment hours, help them put a culvert in. Dave and I are both DEP approved to work on all these issues. I just hate to see our lakes, you know, our lakes are getting eroded.
It's
You know?
the
And I'm,
way-
but there's Donham again, it's money, you know, I mean, it's comes back down to money. But if we don't have our lakes,
We're
we're
not
not
gonna
gonna have no money.
Is there a list anywhere, I mean, have you guys put together a list of critical drainage issues that are
There is,
prioritized?
Iowa would have it.
yeah.
They went all around
Oh, they
these
did,
lakes and
okay.
pointed it out.
So we're relying on that list at this point in time, we don't have our own list, or?
Right.
No, and I don't think we've got a current list of private road associations.
Well, I think the easiest thing to do is get the Great East Lake study, you know,
Yeah,
what's in, and
main
they're gonna
thing-
give you the hot spots, and whatever road those hot spots
Is
are.
Wilson a great farm?
It's part of the grant.
Well,
They got a grant money.
they got a study.
That's a federal
They've got a
grant
study.
money. Yeah, they've got a study.
Right,
You have
they
to have a
got-
water, Mousom does too. You have to have a watershed study first.
I mean, I think it's one step at a time. I mean, the town is legally to step in on any great pond.
I think we gotta make
Right,
sure
right.
though, that
You know,
we read that, I mean, we went to that meeting the other day, and they did explain to us that we could go in and do certain things. We just gotta make sure that we read into it, make sure we know what.
I have
we're allowed.
copies of all of that. What you will find is, yes, we can go in, but if they don't have a road association, we can't.
Well, no, but if they have a road
But if the
association,
town-
no.
But if the town got public easements, yes, we could.
Yeah.
So there are legal ways, and we can't just say, no, we can't do it. And we also can't continue to just say, no, we don't have money for
But
anything.
Cindy Shapley takes care of all their dirt roads,
They do.
because they went under public easements. As long as you can do that and the town will accept them, we're fine. So, I mean, that's the route, safest route, I believe to go, is to go to these road associations and say, you know, give us an easement over your, you know, this and that, and come to the town. And that's gonna make it so we can go in without any stipulations and go and do what we need to do. But, that's up to these road associations. All those people in Shapley did that. You know,
We,
Bryan can do the same thing.
I don't think that we have road associations on all the roads.
Well, then,
And I know on
that's-
Buzzell that we don't, but you can't just ignore probably your biggest problem in town because of past problems with personalities.
Well, the problem, 13th Street, all these roads went up and did this, okay?
Yeah.
And they went up and they took care of their erosion issues. If Buzzell Road doesn't take care of their issues, the rest of the roads say, well, screw, we're not gonna do one either, because they're gonna come and bail us out too. I mean, they're all
Or
spending
they're
their
gonna
money.
say, why on earth should we do this?
I
When the guy across the lake is just gonna ruin it and not do it himself.
I haven't been actually talking with 13th Street, Buzzell Road, the lake part of it, and there's a bunch of new members that are gonna be coming into it. There's a new, Gary Dunham, he was doing the plowing, I helped him out here and there. And there's a bunch of new members on it, and they're gonna be getting aggressive on coming up with some grants and getting associated with stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I-
they are-
They're on the roll doing it.
they're on a better roll.
My-
right
my
now.
suggestion
That's what I
to 'em-
suggested to them, that you
Yeah.
guys have gotta get associated.
I-
And once you're associated, then all you gotta do is go to the town and ask for money. It's plain
I've been-
much that
Not
simple.
only that, but I know, you know, unless the law has changed, that the state, you know, like Maine DEP, you know, they've identified these areas. But the thing is, you know, they'll kick in money, but you gotta have matching funds.
Well, they'll kick in
Property owners are gonna have to
60,
kick in.
70%.
And then, you know, the town, it doesn't have to be money, it can be laid, I mean, it is, they're still laying out money, but.
The easiest route for Buzzell Road, because I spoke to them about their road association, and I explained to them, this is the route you gotta do, you've got to start a road association. By not having one, you're not helping anybody out, because we just can't come in there and do work. If we have to have somebody we can work with. And as far as I know, they are starting out an association. It's slow, but I guess they're doing so. And by doing that, you're gonna start seeing improvements, because, you know, there's gonna be money available.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be available for grants, like, Hawk Road, Eagle, you worked on Eagle, I did work on Hawk Road last year. Both those projects were funded by the government, You know, I think it was a 60/40.
The original, on 13th Street, but the original down the very end, that was, $9,000 in grant money from the state. And then the residents in that part of 13th Street came up with matching funds. It was matching funds from the state.
Ed, correct me if I'm wrong, but Wilson Pond, why they got the grants, so much grants for Wilson Pond, is it the second cleanest lake in Maine?
I think probably.
That's it, and
I
that's
don't know
why they
exactly.
got
It's
them
extremely
extra.
clean lake, I know
they-
that.
That's why they
Yeah.
got them extra grants this
Yeah.
year, and that's why they're really
Yeah.
pushing to
Yeah.
get the associations and give them
And
money.
Eagle Road did put an association together to try to get the grants, and they finally did.
And they did.
Eagle Road has been 20 years trying to do a road association, and 2 or 3 people on the road were not cooperating.
But see the thing.
Finally, they did,
Yeah,
and it worked,
And look what happened.
and there's a lot of money been spent. I mean, I got property on Eagle Road.
yeah.
My percentage of that, of the association was $600,
Right.
so it's not cheap. But to do it, you gotta chip the money in, and then fortunately, they did, it was the, what'd you call it, 30?
It's, the 319.
Yeah, 319, I think that's what they did.
Yeah.
And it was what, a 50/50, I think, Scott?
It was just about, it was like 45, 55.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, and it worked out well.
The thing with the statutory road association is, it only takes 4 property owners to start it.
Right.
Someone can say, no, I'm not gonna belong or anything,
Yeah.
but, you have the legal right as a statutory road association to assess everyone for
Right.
their fair share of the maintenance on that road. And they don't have any argument.
No, but because you're much better off, the more people you get
Oh,
married
yeah,
into
of
it, the
course.
better,
Yeah,
the better it
the
goes.
more people
Yeah,
that work
and that's
with
finally
it.
what they did on Eagle, when it
Yeah,
worked out good.
It's hard when you first start out,
Yeah.
but then people realize they see what you're doing,
Yep.
And, 13th Street is a typical example. I mean, that was a minefield.
Yeah, and I think you'll find after Buzzell Road gets their road association established.
Yeah,
They start
yeah.
getting some grants,
Yeah.
and you never know what happens down the road with the
Yeah.
town or whatever, but, I think you'll find after they get all set and rolling, they'll
Once
wish they'd done that a long time ago.
once they start and they see,
Progress.
there's progress, you're not, the money's being spent in the correct way, most people will go along with it.
I spoke to one lady down there, and she was asking about it, and I had given her a couple of people on your road there to contact, and you
Yeah.
guys have gone through that process, and
Yeah.
are pretty familiar with it.
Yeah, it was about 6 years. I mean, it's still not done completely,
Yeah.
the finish coat, but it was a 6-year project.
Yeah, they're in Langley Shores too, that's just on the other side. of the
Yeah,
road.
yeah,
They've
they've-
come a long ways, I've done a lot of work for them too, and Charlie Plant's done some paving down in there, and they've made some real nice progress.
And the thing is, these associations have to remember, is, especially if they're gonna do it, one of them that I have over at Newfield, that they have a clause in their association. If you do any additional work or logging, you stay up the road, you're paying the bill.
Right.
And, and I worked with them on that, we had to. I mean, you going in there and, and next thing you know, they're building $500,000 homes, and we've all seen it. And next thing you know, the roads broke up, and they told them, you're gonna do these remodels,
Yeah.
you need to put money in escrow. And that's only fair.
Why?
Why should everybody else be chipping in X amount of money for their dues, and you have people building $500,000 homes on these lakes, and some of these people are fortunate that these homes have been passed down over the years, and some of them are just scraping by to hang on to it. So, I mean, it's doable, it's very well doable.
Now, these grants that you've spoken of on Buzzell Road, are these the FEMA grants that have been, because there have been?
I think it's called, it's a 319, it's a state,
Oh, okay.
Maine DEP.
FEMA, 10 years ago had grant programs as long as there was an
But
association.
they wouldn't touch Buzzell Road because there was no association or nothing, so.
Yeah, that's the whole key. You have to,
You're gonna have to
in
be
order to be
organized.
eligible for grant money, you have to have
Association.
a legal association.
Yeah. And you also have to be able to document repeated damages, as I recall.
That's for FEMA, for the road tracker.
That's for
So
after,
we're gonna shut
after you've
down.
got association and you're getting complete damage, you keep on getting damage, then you're.
Because that one on Wilson Lake, did they have an algae bloom in there too. They had some water issues too, I think kinda geared towards.
It was
that. So
down,
that's another
yeah, on
thing.
Eagle Road, down where the
Yeah.
culvert comes across. They've
Right.
actually got a delta out there that's
Yeah.
formed.
Yeah.
So it was trying to help slow
Yeah.
the
So
erosion
There
down.
was more
Yeah.
than just road maintenance, there was some
Yeah.
other issues that had
Yeah.
gone along, and that's what a lot of these places along the lake need to look at too.
Yeah.
It isn't just, you know, that, it's the homeowners that are doing work, and also, you know, what's the storms are doing, what, you know, some of the other things, yeah. So I remember
Okay,
you mentioning that, so.
Dick's got another appointment, so is there anything else that we want to bring up? The only other thing we have is the next meeting date. Probably, after
I'm
election?
thinking after the election.
Yeah, after
And
town meeting.
then we'll see what everybody wants to do after town meeting.
The election is going well.
Well, it's June, I don't know what else.
I mean, unless something comes up now.
Yeah.
now,
I can't say, if we have a reason to meet, we'll meet.
Yeah, it'd be nice to
Would
get some
you,
information on the counters, if we're gonna think about that, or.
Yeah, we wanna get on that right now, because we don't.
Well, we want to call, what we want to do is reserve them and do them sometime between the 1st of July and 1st of September.
Yeah.
And you know, we'll help with that, and if 4 of us could go out and do the measuring,